create and design your life through your subconscious. So there is only the conscious, subconscious, and superconscious. Now, when you begin to realize this and you begin to realize that you don't have a predetermined destiny, then you understand that you can start to design your life. What am I talking about? Well, when you start to realize that you can actually, produce thoughts that become things, okay, because thoughts become things, then you can think the proper thoughts to do the proper things or the desired results, okay? So, as far as the human is designed, your power is so strong that whatever you believe comes true. Okay, now you got to get to the belief part. So the question is, what do you believe? What do you believe to be true? Now, whatever you believe to be true is the foundation of everything in your life. And everyone's perception is different because people have different beliefs. Okay? So you are the way you are because that is what you believe about yourself, about the world, your perception, your worldview. All of those things play into that. Your whole reality, everything you believe, is your co creation with the divine. Okay? Your co creation with God. Whatever you believe, however you believe, you can insert that there because there is only the conscious, the subconscious, and superconscious. Now, it is also said in many books that God defies description, okay, that you're unable to explain God or define God. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about that. So the superconscious, okay, the superconscious suggests that, well, good morning, Jake. The superconscious suggests that, there is a source where infinite intelligence is transferred down to the subconscious. Okay, so we're gonna discuss a little bit about that today, and how that happens, and that happens because your subconscious, superconscious, and conscious mind work together. Now, the most ideal thing to happen, right, for a human being, is when you have the three working in concert with each other. Okay, so when you're thinking the proper thoughts, when they form the proper beliefs, and when I say proper, I'm just saying desired beliefs for the individual, whatever individual, the human being. So when these thoughts start to work with each other, right, then you start to think the right thoughts. Okay, those thoughts go into your subconscious as beliefs, and those beliefs start to work with the superconscious and start bringing the right things into play, start bringing the right people into play. Now, if that did not exist, then you would have a predetermined destiny, but you have freedom of choice. Okay, you have free will. You have the ability to change the course of your life. Now, think of it as the difference between a rudderless boat that just goes like that. You're just having a random life, just like that, right? But if you have a steersman, okay, your boat can go straight. If you have somebody steering the ship, now you can go in a specific direction. Now your life can go in a desired area or a desired place and produce desired results. Otherwise, everything would be predetermined and you would just go along on autopilot for the ride. Okay, well, some people are doing that, but they do it through the subconscious. Okay, but the magic about the human being is that we have the ability to co-create with the superconscious or with God. Okay, and this is not about church, this is not about religion, this is not about that. This is about the capabilities that every human being has, the conscious, the subconscious, and superconscious. So understanding the conscious mind, okay? So when you decide to learn a new skill, like playing an instrument, for example, I play an instrument, I play several instruments, but when you do that, you're using your conscious mind to determine, to make the choice, right? You go, well, I think I'm going to play the guitar today. I think I'm going to play the ukulele today. I think I'm going to play the trumpet today, whatever it is. Now you're using your conscious mind to make that choice and to focus on practicing. I have to practice. Okay? Now, what does the subconscious mind do? Well, once you've practiced the instrument for a while, your fingers move effortlessly. It's automatic because you memorize everything. Okay, so you commit everything to memory, or you commit everything to the subconscious. Okay, sometimes they call it the unconscious, but the subconscious. Let's talk about it that way. So now you don't even have to think about it because your subconscious has stored that muscle memory. Okay, it's already there. It knows exactly how much pressure to apply. It knows where to go specifically. Okay, because the subconscious learns in repetition. So once you repeat an action, it begins to be committed to your subconscious. So a belief is a thought you keep thinking. Now, when you keep thinking the same thought, you start to believe the same thought. Okay? And this is why when people join certain organizations or certain clubs or certain things with philosophies, okay, with principles, be it moral or otherwise, they begin to believe these things because you begin to believe what you keep thinking. So, of course, if you keep thinking the world is flat, you will believe the world is flat. Round, you'll believe the world is whatever you believe. Okay, I'm not here to tell you what to believe. I'm here to tell you that whatever you believe affects the rest of your journey. Okay, so that's how the subconscious works. That's an example of the subconscious. Now, what about the superconscious? How does the superconscious work? So, well, if you have like a aha moment, okay, you get this intuitive thought, okay, maybe it's creativity, a higher sense of purpose, kind of feeling, right? Okay, those are all superconscious moments. That's coming from the superconscious. Now, that's consciousness or God. So the creativity comes from the right brain, the right hemisphere of the brain. So you have right and left. You have the left reptilian brain, the right hemisphere of the brain is creativity. So we can say that your right hemisphere of the brain is affected by the superconscious. It conducts energy from the superconscious. But it's located in here. The kingdom is within. It's all inside. Okay? Nothing happens out here. This is all inside. Okay? You're like an electromagnet. That's why you get really good ideas when you're in the ocean. That's why you get really good ideas when you're in the lake, when you're in the river, when you're in the shower. Okay? You start to feel this energy. Okay? You start to get ideas. Now, when you get intuitive thought, it's important that you act on it because you're getting it for a reason. Okay? There's a reason for that. Now, many people dismiss thoughts from the superconscious because the superconscious works with the subconscious. Now, based upon what you believe in your subconscious, that's what it feeds or draws upon from the superconscious. So when you have inspiration, if you're that person playing the guitar and you've committed everything to memory, and all of a sudden you get an idea for a song, that's coming from the superconscious. When you have that sudden inspiration, you're inspired to do something. It could be inspired to help somebody across the street. You could have that feeling that you need to give that person $1. However, to assist that person, to help, to do something like that. Now, you have free will. So many times, I can tell you from personal experience, there's many times when I see something and I go, oh, I could offer to help. Or I could offer to pay for somebody's groceries. And then I go, no, I better mind my own business. Okay? That happens. There's a lot of times so what do we call that? We call those good intentions. Okay, so sometimes there's good intentions, but intentions are just intentions. They're not actions unless you put them into action. So action is important. Is a lot of action important? No. You are not required to be a machine. You're not required to push, 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 push. Okay? That has been put upon us through other methods, other methodologies, if you will. Okay? And some of that came through plantation mentality, factory mentality. Okay? These are human elements that were created by other humans. Okay, so if you owned a plantation, or if you had a factory and you wanted workers to do the manual labor, then it was in your best interest to keep them focused on that labor and keep them working hard. And then it becomes generational. Well, the new generation understands that you don't need to work hard, and they still receive. Okay, how does that work? If working hard or push, 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 that kind of work hard, okay, if that were what was, all that was required to live a good life, to buy a home, to buy a car, then that would suggest that everyone would have to go through that process to get that, right? But there's some people that just work long, they don't work hard. I don't consider anything I've done in my life to be hard work. I've worked long. Okay, what I consider hard, see the thing is, like, what is your perception? What is your perception of working hard? When I see construction people working, I go, whoa, that's hard work. And they make a lot of money. But it's hard work to me, right? To a lot of construction people, it's what they love. They're doing what they love. It's not hard for them. So perception is everything. If something seems hard to you or difficult to you, you need to change the way you look at it. That's all. Just your perception of it. Because if you see it as difficult, it becomes difficult. How does that work? It works through your subconscious. If you see something as challenging, it will become challenging. And the more you continue to see it as that, the more your subconscious goes, okay, yeah, this is challenging, right? And then you continue to see it as challenging. If you look at something as easy, this is easy. All I have to do is, so in the old days, when I started teaching, I had to do 1 hour sessions with people. And in the old days, I'm like, 1 hour, that's a long time. That's hard. Now, when I do an hour, it goes by like that. Why? Because I love what I do. I love what I teach. I love the results that I get. And I keep seeing human beings evolve. And I keep seeing them change. The same human beings every week change. Every week something's a little bit more different. They're a little bit more confident. They're a little bit more, they're a little bit better. They're a little bit different. Sometimes it's not so much that they've gotten better. Sometimes they've just changed a little bit. And sometimes you can't put your finger on it, like, what is it? But you know something's different, and then the next week, wow, there's another evolvement. So I've learned to enjoy these hours. So now an hour goes by like that, but it's enjoyable. But when I began teaching 36 years ago, it was like 1 hour, whoa, that's long. See, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Because you're a human being. If something looks difficult, you need to reframe it. Reframing means, instead of saying, wow, this is really hard, like I worked hard today, change your speech. I worked well today. I had fun today at work. Work was fun today. You always hear people talk about how hard work was. And then they have to go back and face it again tomorrow. What are they facing? Hard. They're facing hard. They're working hard. Their perception is hard. After so many years of this, what happens? Well, things start to break down in the body. Why? Because it's hard. Because it's difficult. Because the perception of what you're doing puts you through more stress mentally and emotionally. And eventually, it turns into physical. It manifests into the physical. So, unresolved anger, unresolved trauma, unresolved means you just push it on the side and move forward. You push it on the side and move forward, right? And you don't deal with the beliefs, the subconscious beliefs of it. I had to go through all of that. I had to go through tons of it. So the thing about it is, right, and I show this to people all the time, the thing about it is that it's always a work in progress. These are affirmations, not journaling, okay? I'm not writing about what happened. I'm writing about what I intend to happen, what I intentionally want to happen. I am so happy and grateful now that I have a new client. Thank you. I am so happy and grateful now that I have $5,000. Thank you. So when I started writing affirmations for money, right? Because a lot of people are, they ask me, "Oh, uncle, how do you get more money?" Money starts here. Money is all around you. Money surrounds you. You're surrounded by money. You can't see it, but it's there. Money is an energy. So I started writing, I am so happy and grateful now that I have $20. And pretty soon $20 showed up. Now $20 is a small amount of money. It doesn't get much attention. But when you do receive something, you have to be aware. And all that you have to be aware of is that you got what you asked for. And a lot of us forget because things are distracting in society, right? So when we write, I am so happy and grateful now that I got $20, and somebody, I don't know, pays for your groceries and it's $20, you don't see it, you don't notice it. You go, oh, wow, he was a good Samaritan, he paid for my groceries. And you didn't really notice that it was $20, and you didn't notice that God brought you $20 or Source brought you $20 or whatever your belief system is. I'm not here to tell you what to believe. But when these things happen, it kind of slips under the radar a little bit, see? So when I write down, I am so happy and grateful now that, I have $1,000, I had to work my way up. So 20, 50, 100, then I went like 200, 500, then I went, 1,000, and I stopped at 2,000, 5,000, sorry. I stopped at 5,000, and I had to work my way up, 2,500, 3,000, because it's like anything else. Your subconscious does not respond to grandiosity in the way that you can jump from $20 to lottery. Okay, $20, and then I am so happy and grateful now that I have won the lottery. Thank you. Lottery might not be able, you might not be able to conceptualize that right away. You may have to grow into it, because everything in life starts small and you have to grow it. Okay, so this is growing. This is growing. Okay, because you have to start small and then continue. And you have to keep growing. So, but when I got to $5,000, did $5,000 just show up? Did it just pop into my mailbox, or walk into my office? It kind of walked into my office in a way, but it was maybe 3 clients or 4 clients. So at one point I stopped writing for money and I'm going, okay, I am so happy and grateful now that I have 4 clients, thank you. Or I have 3 clients, thank you. So you can write for anything and it goes into your subconscious. Now the process is conscious, subconscious, subconscious, back and forth with superconscious. So when you have that thought, right, you're thinking about your best friend, thinking about your bestie. You're walking through the mall, you're thinking about your bestie. You're down at the beach, you're thinking about your bestie. You haven't seen your bestie for a while. You go back to the mall one day, there's your bestie. How did that happen? And your bestie goes, I was just thinking about you. Ah, coincidence. You're both thinking about each other. Then you just so happen to align in such a way that you run into each other. Ah, coincidence. Right? Could be, possibly. Or you could be of the belief system that nothing is a coincidence. As human beings, we're pretty selective, right? So this is a coincidence, this is God, this is divine, this is coincidence, this is, right? And we go, oh no, this has to be a coincidence because God wouldn't work like this, right? I'm not here to tell you what to believe. But in my experience, thoughts become things. In my experience, beliefs form your paradigm. So let's look at the tree, okay? Subconscious beliefs are the roots of the tree. The trunk of the tree is the paradigm. The fruits of the tree up here are the actions, and these actions produce results. You will know them by their fruits. Okay, so the actions that a person is performing here is reflective of what they believe, how they see the world, their perception of the world, and then what they believe at the roots. And it all goes in order. Now, if you want to change the actions, you can have random actions. You can change random actions. Let's say, for example, you recognize that you're not a generous person, but today you've decided that you're going to give some money away. So you do it. But then after a while, right, after a couple of actions, you go back to being more conservative with money and you don't give. So is generosity a habit yet? No, because it was just a couple of random acts. Random acts of kindness. If kindness becomes a habit, it's because down here at the roots of the tree in the subconscious, it has become a belief that you need to be generous. So you can change anything up here, but you have to start at the roots. Okay? And that's why they say if the roots of the tree is not good, it will not bear good fruit. So if the beliefs are not good, then your vision, or the way you see the world, or your outlook on life, or your worldview, however you want to say it, is shaped by these beliefs. And based upon these two elements, the fruits, the actions, will correspond with these two things. So the conscious, the subconscious, and superconscious need to be in alignment to be consistent with something. In other words, if you're doing random things, you're living life randomly. There's nothing wrong with that. Some people like that. It's exciting, right? Let's see what happens today. Okay, go out in the world. Let's see what happens. Whoa, that happened. React to that. Or let's react to this. Let's react to that. Okay, that's one way of living. And there's nothing wrong with that. Some people like that. It's exciting. Okay. Some people get burnt out living like that. So they choose to design their life with one of these. Okay? But this is one thing. There's four. Okay? Affirmations, meditation, vocalization, and visualization. Four things. So, affirmations, right? I am so happy and grateful now that, whatever you want to design, now that I'm having a great day at work tomorrow. Thank you. And you read it the night before, and chances are tomorrow's going to be better at work. Okay? So now what's the meditation part? Hey, Jonathan. Thank you, Jonathan. What's the meditation part? The second pillar. Meditation. Well, we're going to be still. We're going to listen to the superconscious. We're going to pay attention to the superconscious. We're going to allow the superconscious in, so that now we get the ideas, so that now we get the intuitive thought, so that now we get the inspiration, so now we can hear these things and feel these things. It's not exactly hearing in the hearing sense, but it's feeling these things and paying attention to these things, so that we implement these things, or let's say it another way, take action on these things based upon how we have felt them. And now these things, which were meant for us to feel, which were divine, messages, superconscious messages, however you believe, hunches, if you will. Okay. Can you get results without action? Yes. Sure. You can pray and get a result. You can meditate and get a result. All you have to do is think it. So basically, you can think things into existence. You can pray things into existence. You can speak things into existence if you do it through your subconscious. Conscious, subconscious, superconscious. So if you're thinking in a disciplined way, or in a focused manner, or let's say directed towards a purpose, then your beliefs will begin to correspond with that purpose. Then your intuitive thought will work with the subconscious to focus you on that purpose. And this is how the greatest inventions were invented. 5,000 years ago, in the Emerald Tablets, creation was pronounced complete. Everything is complete. All you ever see in this lifetime is the reinvention of things. Everything is complete. You can receive these ideas. You can receive these inventions, concepts, okay? All of these things by asking. Just ask. What kind of problem do you need to solve? You can look at something and get an idea and go, you know what? If I just adjusted a couple of things with this thing, I could invent a whole new thing. See? That's modifying someone else's idea. It's already created. It's already complete. Now you're going to change it. You're going to modify the idea. You're going to modify the invention. You're going to modify the creation. when you keep modifying creations, you get the rewards for all of these things. Modify the creation. Oh, it becomes the latest thing. Now everybody's buying your modification of the creation. Because 5,000 years ago, it was already complete. So everything can be drawn from the superconscious or from God or from Source, however you believe. I'm not here to tell you what to believe. But when you ask, you will receive. The problem is we don't ask enough, right? We rely on our freedom of thought, right? Our freedom, our free will, right? All of that, right? That's what we rely on, our free will. And what do we call that? Ego. To surrender that ego in the moment, at that time, is to allow the superconscious to work and to take instruction from the superconscious and now take action on those instructions and receive the results. Okay, so you're driving down the street, right? I use the same scenario all the time, so if you've heard it before, bear with me. Driving down the street, you get the feeling that you need to turn right. But you have free will and you say, nah, that's okay, I'm just gonna go to the next light. And you go to the next light, and on the way there, you get stuck in the traffic jam, and what do you say? I knew I should have turned. Because you did know. Because you got the message. You received the message. You ignored the message. You pushed it away. No, I know better. And you go, and there you are. So there's been so many times in my life where I've had that message, right? And I go, okay, let's go with that. And it turned out every single time. Every single time. So you don't have to know how something will work. Ask for the answer. Ask and ye shall receive. Seek and ye shall find. You only find when you seek. You cannot not find when you seek. You cannot ask and not be given. Sometimes you won't be given in the way you want to be given. Sometimes there may be an extra step you have to take. Sometimes there may be a little work you have to do. Sometimes, instead of going like this, life will take you out here to get it. And then you go, wow, that was strange how that happened. I was planning step 1, step 2, step 3, and it went step 1, step 2, step 3 over here. And then I got what I wanted. Facts. Hey, Holiday, good morning. Because God gives it to you, or let's say it another way, right? For those of you who believe differently, the universe, God, Source, okay, all of that, superconscious, gives it to you in the best way for you. And if you believe that, if that's something down here in the roots of the tree in your subconscious, if you believe that everything happens for your benefit, everything happens for you the way it's supposed to, guess what? Everything starts happening that way. So, another way to think about it is something good is just about to happen. Something good is just about to happen for me. Anticipate that. And then your subconscious is going, oh, wait, something good's just about to happen. Okay. And it will start to give you evidence of it. Your reticular activating system in your brainstem will start showing you things to confirm that. And that's the red sports car. When you're interested in a red sports car, and then pretty soon you see so many red sports cars, and you go, whoa. Good morning, Holiday. How's it? So many red sports. I never knew there were so many red sports cars. Why? Well, because you're interested in red sports cars at the moment, right? It doesn't matter what it is. You have this power, if you want to call it a power. You have this ability, if you want to call it an ability, because you're here. Okay, whatever you want to call this, a spirit, you want to call this a soul, you want to call this energy, what do you want to call that? You can call it whatever you want, but that's who you are. You're not your body, you're not your name. You've been given the name. You've been assigned a name. Just like you've been assigned a social security number. You've been assigned a title. When you identify with that title, now you're separate. Now you're separating yourself and identifying with the title instead of yourself. My corporate clients always run into this degree of difficulty or this degree of challenge, you know? So first you go to school, manifesting, yes, absolutely. So you manifest whether zero, okay, zero. Her profile name is Zero, okay. So manifestation happens whether you think so or not. Manifestation happens whether you believe in it or not. It's not something to believe in. It's something to realize. It's something to be aware of. It's awareness. Now, when you have, let's say, a heightened sense of awareness or a greater sense of awareness, when you can pull yourself out of the box and look back in the box. I'd be happy to help you anytime, Holiday. Just let me know. You can write me an email for free. You can do a 30-minute session with me for free. Let me know anytime. Just message me. No problem. So, the ability to pull yourself out of the box and look back into the box is the key. How do you do this? Affirmations, meditation, vocalization, visualization. Because you can write it, you can meditate on it, you can also pray for it, okay? Vocalization, you can speak it. The number one, first and foremost way to influence your subconscious is visuals. That's the visualization, okay? And the first person it recognizes the most is you. The second thing it recognizes the most is your voice. So right now, my subconscious does not know and cannot distinguish whether I'm talking to you or whether I'm talking to me. So when I look in the camera, if I'm watching my image in the camera and not looking at the camera, my subconscious is being heavily imprinted with what I am saying. So how does that work for you? Stand in front of the mirror and make your pronouncements. Stand in front of the mirror and say your I am statements. I am generous. I am kind. I am loyal. I am, I am, I am. I am refers to your being. When you speak from I am, your subconscious starts listening. It goes, oh, you're calling my name. Because God is in here. God is I am. God lives in here, not up there. God is not up there. God is in here. Your life path unfolds from in here, like this, like this, like this, like this. Yes, in the mind. In the conscious mind, the subconscious mind, and the superconscious. You're correct, Zero. The radar, okay. But the idea of a better life, the idea of a better existence, the idea of less stress, the idea of any betterment whatsoever should be appealing to you. And if it's appealing to you, just know affirmations, meditation, vocalization, visualization. Okay, now how do we do the meditation? Be still. Be still and know. Just sit there. Close your eyes. Do 5 minutes. It's a chore at first because you're used to stimulus all day long. All day long. All day long. You know, I had a client yesterday in Canada complaining about her relationship because this is more important to her boyfriend than she is. So you can use this as a tool, or this can be an instrument of separation and isolation. Or you could use this to help you, to assist you. Okay, so for visualization purposes, this is a gratitude board. These are things I already have that I'm grateful for. Or you could use it as a vision board. Let me give you an example. So a vision board is something you'd like to have maybe. Okay, so in that instance, you could make something like this. And this is just done in Facebook stories, Instagram stories. And you take a picture of whatever the target is for you. And now you have a vision board. A vision board is something you look at that you like or that you want. And your subconscious starts offering you ideas on how to get it. Oh, maybe I should get a side job. Maybe I should get an additional job. Maybe I should ask for a raise. Maybe I should. Maybe maybe. You get ideas. But you have to ask. Close your eyes and ask. How can I get those pair of shoes? And wait for the answers. Now, if you vocally cancel yourself out of your dreams, right? If your left logic brain goes, well, you know those shoes are expensive, right? Then what? You say, I can't afford that. Your subconscious goes, okay. Yep, barefoot is the best way to go, Holiday. Unfortunately, I can't do it as much as I used to, but yeah, it's the best way to ground yourself to the earth. It's very healthy. I was very lucky in elementary school. We didn't wear shoes or slippers. We went barefoot in elementary school. And we were all very healthy. Much more healthy than I see people today. Leo Rising, good morning. Thank you so much. Good morning. Exactly. When you're on the right track, you will know it by how you feel. Thank you, Zero. It's school for you. Yep. Learning. Yep. So Zero on TikTok. We're on 7 platforms right now. 2 Facebook platforms. We're on YouTube. We're on Trovo in Europe. We're on Twitch, and we're on TikTok. And Zero on TikTok said that this is school for her. This instrument here is school for her. It's school for me too, all the time. It's also work for me. So it depends on how you use one of these, right? It's like a knife. A knife can cut your steak, or it can hurt someone. Just like guns don't kill people. People kill people with guns. It all depends on how you use the things available to you. But there is only the conscious, the subconscious, and superconscious. And when you achieve alignment with these things, it doesn't take a great effort to do it. It takes subconscious programming. Now, programming, I don't always like to use that word because it sounds like brainwashing. but it is. It's brainwashing in the positive. It's positive affirmations that will direct your subconscious and give it orders on what to do. Your subconscious takes orders, it's an order taker. You tell your subconscious what you want. You tell your subconscious what to do. And then after a few, repetitions, it becomes a habit. Good habits are easy to acquire. They're very easy to acquire. Sometimes we have choices. Sometimes things are more fun. And we go, I'd rather be doing that. I'm not going to do my affirmation this morning, right? But if there's a goal, stress, less anxiety, less worry, less of all the negative emotions, then you start writing for positive emotions. I am so happy and grateful now that I'm confident. I am so happy and grateful now that I'm healthy. And what will your subconscious do? It will start making healthy choices. Because you'll go for the junk food and go, oh yeah, that's right. It's not healthy. Your subconscious goes, hey, that's not healthy, right? And you think about it. Now, you have free will. You can violate your own rules. Go ahead. Okay, I'll take the donut, right? But if you're serious about change, if you're serious about wealth, if you're serious about health, if you're serious about relationships, if you're serious about whatever it is you're serious about, pick up one of these and start writing. Then meditate and be still for 10 minutes a day. And ask questions about it when you meditate. And listen for the answers. Be open for the feeling of the solutions. Vocalization. Speak the dream. Articulate it. You don't have to tell anybody else about it. You can keep it between you and you, in front of the bathroom mirror, but speak the dream. I'm going to do whatever, and make your profound pronouncement in the mirror. It feels kind of weird the first few times you do it, but then you get used to it, and then it becomes empowering. You're getting younger, you're working on that? Okay. It's like a car as well. Yeah, it'll go as far as you want, right? You do the driving and maintenance. Perfect, ma'am. Perfect. Yeah, perfectly said. But you have to do the maintenance. This is maintenance right here. I'll show you maintenance. This is maintenance. Okay, this is all maintenance. I've been doing this since 2007. And then this is the new one because that one's all done. And this is the new one here. You see? But yeah, it's maintenance. Because when you're designing your life, your subconscious is like a muscle. You have to keep working at it or it will get soft and it will get out of shape, just like your muscles, just like anything else in your life. But when you're consistent, you work at it, you work at it, you work at it, you fine-tune your subconscious and it's sharp. I can manifest things pretty quick. Depends on what it is. Depends on what I believe. Depends on what my core beliefs are. Because sometimes you have to establish a new belief in order to manifest the new thing or the different thing. And when that happens, you have to install the belief first. Because remember the roots of the tree? Yeah? Good morning, Laura. The roots of the tree. Okay? Your paradigm is the trunk of the tree, and your actions are the fruits that give you results. So sometimes it takes longer when you have to install the belief first. Then you have to wait for the paradigm to be constructed, and then the actions will be consistent, and then you will receive what you are asking for. Some people pray. Some people pray all day long for something. They pray all day long. And they're waiting for their prayer. And they wait, And some of them receive, and some of them don't. The reason why you're not receiving, if you're not receiving, is because there's a conflict in your core beliefs. That's all. It's very simple. But when there is a conflict in your core beliefs, it's very difficult to make that a part of your paradigm to get the proper actions for the proper results. That's true too, yeah. Some of God's greatest gifts are unanswered prayers. But the reason they go unanswered is because the superconscious is responding to the subconscious that has counter beliefs or it's counter manifesting at the subconscious level. So you're not going to get it. So maybe it was a new Ferrari that would have gotten you into an accident. Could have been, that's speculation, right? But sometimes we want something that's not good for us. Sometimes we want that person that's not good for us. Sometimes we want that money that's not good for us. Sometimes we want that alcohol that's not good for us. Sometimes we want those drugs or whatever it is that's not good for us. Okay? Sometimes we pray for those things. But it just depends on what you believe. If it's in your core beliefs, you cannot not receive it. That's a great song. What song? Jay? What song, Jay? Write it in the chat. I'm curious now. Oh, I see. Okay. You're responding to Zero. Okay. Oh, it's a Garth Brooks song. Oh, okay. All right. So it all depends on your subconscious. If you're not receiving something that you want, okay, whether it's love, whether it's a material thing, whether it's a situation, a job, whatever it is, you can change it with one of these. It starts with one of these. And then you follow up with the meditation, the vocalization, the visualization. The visualization is very, very strong. So collect pictures off the web and make a vision board. You know, I have religious friends that actually tell me, oh no, that's satanic, that's against God. You can't make a vision board, that's black magic. No, it's your subconscious. Okay. But then it goes back to your core beliefs. What do you believe? What have you been told? If you've been told that, these things are bad for you, okay. That's what you believe. You're entitled to believe anything you want. And you can install these beliefs and you can change these beliefs. You cannot change every single one of them, but you can change enough to take this course and put it here, and take this course and put it there, and change your life easily. I had to do major things. I'm not here to flex. I'm not here to tell you all of the experiences I've had, but I can tell you that I had to make some major changes in my life to get to where I wanted to go. And those had to be made intentionally. If I would have just sat there and prayed for it, or if I just sat there and looked at a vision board, but when you apply all four affirmations, meditation, vocalization, visualization, and meditation includes prayer, because when you pray, it's a form of meditation, because you are focused intently on what you are asking for. The other type of meditation that's really, really good for you if you want a mantra, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. It clears everything. It clears everything. When you say, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you, you're speaking to both your creator and yourself. And it's important that you forgive yourself. It's important that you consider yourself. It's important that you love yourself. Okay, I'm not talking about ego. I'm not talking about vanity. I'm talking about loving yourself, eating the right food. We all eat food, myself included. I eat food that's not good for me. And when I'm eating the food, I know it's not good for me. But there comes a point where my subconscious goes, dude, take a break, time out. So it's all about what you believe to be true, how you see yourself. There is only the conscious, subconscious, and superconscious. Affirmations, meditation, vocalization, visualization, and prayer are the solutions. If you can see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand. And that was the lesson that I learned when I wrote my first book. I've written 3 books. This one is on Amazon. I wrote 2 music books as well, but those I just give to my clients. But this is not about me. This is not about the teaching per se. It's kind of sort of related, but it's about how people change their life through their voice. How energy, frequency, vibration, and velocity calms the mind, gets rid of anxiety, gets rid of overthinking. We call that confidence. But it's a chemical reaction that happens. It's actually a hormonal response that happens, your neurotransmitters. But this book is about that, and I wrote it years ago, years and years ago. And it's still selling. It's on Amazon if you care to look for it, or if you write to me because you saw this live, I'll send it to you for free, okay? I'll email it to you for free. All right, Jay has given me the signal, and it's time to see you guys tomorrow, okay? So thank you so much for being here today. And we have seven platforms. We'd like to say thank you to TikTok, to YouTube, to Trovo, to 2 Facebook pages, also to Twitch, and and to Instagram. So Instagram, thank you. Facebook, my page, thank you guys. I love you guys. Thank you for being here. And we'll say goodbye to our international feed right now.